talk to us a little bit about why you're using a skill-based approach as opposed to looking at some, some kind of metrics like, how much you bench or how much you squat or whatever?
Yeah. No, this is great. And the thing is, if we are looking at, for example, if you're looking at pure strength, and let's say that, really, it doesn't matter. If you have a sport and there's a particular goal or a specific number that you really need to hit within that particular sport, then yes, using these metrics, for example, if you're in the weight room, how much are you benching? Particular weight and relevant to whatever it is you need. I think those are very important. In terms of skill work, though, it is a little bit difficult to actually measure some of those things. And so what we're really trying to do is simply bring better awareness into your body, have a really good understanding of what's going on with your body so that then you can start looking at these metrics that really, really relate to yourself, depending on not just that skill, but again, what I mentioned earlier in terms of like auto-regulation is where are you that day? So when we're looking at skill work, whether it be anything, handstand, getting the splits, okay, because that's a skill work. And personally, I think everything out there is skill work, but it's mainly about practice. And so the issue comes about when we're only looking at numbers is when people start thinking about working out. And when it comes to skill work, as I mentioned, practice really where the focus should be. You just simply need to do more of that particular skill and do it the best you can. And so I like to say, make it pretty. And so rather than thinking about you've got to get 10 repetitions of something, I would rather have people think, wait, okay, you're going to do one repetition as beautifully as you can, bringing that awareness in there, making sure that your form is solid, making sure that you're doing it at a level that's good for you. You do it as beautifully as possible, then you try and do another one. And so by doing that, no matter what, you are going to be improving because you're bringing that awareness in, as I mentioned earlier. And if you simply keep doing that over time, you will naturally progress to a high level of that particular skill. And that is actually where we can, and look at, yes, you do need, when you're looking at learning anything, practicing anything, and there's so many ways to do that, but by bringing better awareness, then it's going to allow you to move a little bit away from numbers per se, and instead look at the quality of your movement and try and get in as much quality movement that you can in order to get the volume needed in order to progress to a high level of a particular skill.
For sure. And one of the things that I think is interesting, if you kind of break it down into its fundamental components, right? For you to do any skill, you have to have the flexibility to be able to do it. You need to have the strength. You need to have the mobility. And when you are able to master all of those components, then you can make it look pretty, right? So the people who make it look pretty, well, geez, those people are freaking strong, right? And they're not doing any numbers, right? But you know that they're strong because it looks beautiful, right?
And that's what we're after, and it's looking at like, okay, you bring up a really great point, and if I can just expand on that a little bit, and it doesn't necessarily need to be at a really, really high level. You can take the most basic movement, and you can watch a person do it. A person who has mastery over that movement, you know it. They own that movement, and they're strong. They have that flexibility. They have what they need for that particular movement at that particular time. And so that's what we're after. It's not about necessarily doing these super flashy, difficult skills. It's about really whatever skill you're doing at whatever level you're doing, making it as beautiful as possible, because that to me is moving towards owning that movement, having mastery. And it goes way beyond simply posting a picture on Instagram. Yeah. Anyway.